Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joey Allen from the band Warrant, and we are here to talk about the Hughes Kettner Black Spirit 200 floor, which is a very cool unit indeed. Joe uses it live, as you probably know, and if you don't know, shame on you, fix it. Warrant are still playing upwards of 50 shows every year, selling out places all over America and elsewhere, and this is his rig of choice because he flies to a lot of those shows, obviously, well, most of the shows. So we've already done a video on this, the Fine Don Carr did one, but this is a real guy using it. Not that Don Carr's not a real guy, but this guy uses it on stage in front of thousands of people all the time. So, my friend Joey, we're stuck in an elevator. We've got 3 minutes starting down. Sell me this bad boy.
Basically for us doing flight dates, we'll fly out on a Thursday. We got a Friday gig, a Saturday gig. Taking a tube amp is it's troublesome. Yeah. Just because you don't want to bang it around, you don't want it to go under the plane. So Hughes Kettner made this puppy, and I saw it, and I said, hey, can you send me one? I just want to try it out. And they said, it's a little different than your tube amp, but still pretty cool. As it goes, it's an analog amplifier, which was the first thing for me. I don't like digital things. Right. I like that warm analog tone. And I got it, and it took about an hour for me to program 4 channels, which is what I use live.
Right.
And I plugged it into one of my cabinets at home and jammed with it for a half a day, and I was sold. I can put it in a pouch, carry it like a purse, goes in the overhead. I can set up at a gig in about 5 minutes, be it a club, be it an arena, a fair, a casino, wherever we play in any given day. And it operates great. There's just no maintenance to it. The programming's super easy. 4 killer amps, onboard effects, onboard delay, onboard chorus, flange, phase, tremolo. It's got a noise gate in it. It's got a DI out, a red box out.
Which is great.
So everything that my front of house guy needs as well, right? Depending on what kind of rig you show up to at a gig, because fly dates, you have rented backline for cabinets, so you never know. If you get a bad cabinet, you can always go DI out. It's got different modes in it. I'm sure Don's gone over all the technical part, but it just made taking a full rig, it took like what usually takes an hour to set up, about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've played one of these for a couple of days, and it's not only gig worthy. I'm playing a fly date in LA in December. I'm taking one of these with me, thanks Hughes Kettner, because it's plug and play. Set it up beforehand, then all you got to do is set the master, and as my friend Joey said, because of the red box, if the sound guy's an idiot or the cabinet sucks, just run an XLR out and select your cabinet of choice from 112 through 412, be it vintage, be it American, be it English. Right now we're listening to it through the H&K 2x12 loaded with vintage 30s. The other thing I really like about this is you've got 3 modes you can use. You've got preset mode, because you can save 128 sounds on this, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous. If you need 128 sounds, go to rehab, please. But there's
Don't disagree with you.
If there's a stomp box, the stomp box mode is great because you can access all 4 channels when they're clean, crunch, lead, and ultra.
Yes.
There's a boost you can direct kick into each one if there's not enough gain, and if there's not enough gain without the boost, once again, I suggest rehab is a good place.
Yes.
It's got 2 effects loops, which is really cool, so I can program one of those into one of my sounds if I want. That way when I kick it on, the pedal's on already, should I need one. And it also runs at 2 watts, 20 watts, or 200. And the 200 is ridiculous.
It's plenty. I mean, I did a gig this year where one of the guys was sick and couldn't make it, the other guitar player, Eric Turner, that we played together for over 30 years now. And I had to man up and do the whole gig, and I just split 2 cabinets left and right on the stage, turned it up a little bit, and we were good to go in front of about 3,500 people. So, and literally set it up in 5 minutes. So it was, it's incredible for that. You don't have to overcompensate, put another amp, to get it to where you want it. It was just great. It's like you said, it's got a lot of bells and whistles. It comes with a great manual that you've read, I've read. It's it's enough to turn you sideways, but it's just got everything I need. I really use 4 tones for what I do in Warrant.
Right.
There's a clean tone with a little wash,
and
a little delay. Then I've got a dry tone for rhythms.
Right.
Then I've got that same dry tone with a little bit of wash for some songs. And then I've got a solo tone, which is that same wash sound with about 440 milliseconds of delay with a few slaps on it. And then I bump it up about 3 dB, so if I catch my front of house guy looking at a pretty girl or not paying attention on the board, he doesn't miss my solos. So it's got everything. I can control my own sound and my own volume from this thing immediately. I don't have to wait for a front of house guy. That's another huge selling point for me.
You know, we've talked a lot about sound. Let's hear each channel as you've got them set up, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So this is the clean sound I would use for like a heaven.
That's neat because it's all from there. There's no pedals involved whatsoever.
Nothing. All that wash and the delay you're hearing is all coming from this product right here. It's got a resonance knob on it for the clean channel to where you can pump it up a little bit, make it a little warmer and rounder. And I've got that set at about 3 o'clock.
Gotcha.
So the way I use all my amps, and I'm sure you start there too, is I start at 12 o'clock on all EQs, and then you've got give and take on anything. And then we've got this is the basic crunch tone I use. Right? A little Uncle Tom's Cabin there. And then this would be the wash with a little bit of chorus on it. Like, let's do a little Love in Stereo.
You can really tell it's analog with, like I say, it's got digital effects on it, obviously, and digital memory, but the path is analog and you feel that. I felt that when I was playing.
It's super important to me to have that. I'm not a sample guy. I'm not that modeling guy. You know, I really like warm tubes. I like how you can push tubes with a preamp, or if you want to get it beefier, you can put the power amp a little bit more into it in the master. But this does it all. The only thing, I'll tell you, there's one knob on here that my singer hates, and that's the master. Because it's powerful at 200 watts.
Right. Yeah,
he'll come over to me every gig and he's like, it's too loud over here, and I'm all, well, then don't stand here. Right? Anyways,
that's the right answer.
Love you, Robert.
Go away. Yeah.
And then my solo, I'm just gonna go from my dry rhythm to the solo, and you can hear it bump up a few dB. And then you'll hear the delay on it.
That's damn good. That's a technical
it's not
term.
bad, right? The one thing I'll do, I got a trick on this thing.
Go on.
And it's any guy that's got pedals and especially something that you've got to stomp through different memory patches on, is that this has got 32 banks, right? Of 4.
Yep.
So there's been times where I've hit the wrong switch and I've gone from bank 1 to bank 32, and all of a sudden I'm in this ghost tone that I don't know what it is.
Right.
I'm like, oh, what did I do? You know, or did something break? So what I've done is when I programmed bank 1, A through D, is I took that same program and moved it to bank 2 and to bank 32. So if I go up or down, it might be an old guy thing, I don't know.
That's smart though.
But I just did it because I don't want to get myself into a situation where I accidentally hit the bank and I'm in this weird tone that I don't know what it is. So I basically got 3 banks of the same thing.
Yeah, so it's the user error failsafe.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I'll probably program all 32 the same way, just because I'm an idiot.
It's that I can't see without my glasses on, so it's like if I look down, one could be, 2. I'm that blind. So I mean, it's just a really round, robust analog circuitry. I love it. I can't tell you how easy it's made my touring.
The one thing I must say, from it took me less than half an hour to suss it out, but I've worked with a lot of stuff like this before, and I really love the way it's intuitive. I read the manual, but I didn't have to, because you can you look and go, oh, I get this, I press this, then I can access chorus. And I love the fact there's not layers of menus and functions and whatnot. It's dial the knob if you like it, save it, move on. None of this deep editing nonsense. You can get an app and you can control it from that, which is really cool. But the pedal functionality is the same as on a stomp box. Right? So you've just got rate and intensity for the modulations. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I don't need pre-delay and all this sort of stuff. I get confused.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, keep it simple.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
yeah.
Didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
But it's just, for me, the same thing. I mean, it's got memory on everything. So if you go from your clean channel to your lead channel, for instance, obviously the amp you use is going to change, right? And so are probably the EQ settings and some of the effects settings. And your knobs where they're setting on the board won't reflect what those two channels do, because you can't switch them in between. So what you can do is, if you need to add, like, let's say you're in a situation like here today where we've got the cabinet up, I'm usually on the floor, I wanted to brighten it up a little bit, right? So I went into that channel, and then I go to the treble, and I move it, and when it hits where it was, the store light
flashes,
illuminates, right? And then I can go, okay, that's where it was, and I just bump it up, you know, a little bit.
Right.
And then I can hit store, you know, or pull the presence up a little bit and store. So it's really intuitive to use. It's super easy, like you said, half hour to set up. It took me an hour. I don't know who's older, but
my sounds aren't as good as yours, so maybe that's the reason. So,
but again, I mean, it's got all kinds of stuff you can use, depending on, you know. I think something like this for guys that do gigs and like cover bands.
Right.
You know, especially there's a lot of the cover bands out there now that do just multiple generations. There's one in Orange County where I live. There's a punk band, and they do every like the 60s punk, 70s punk, 80s punk, 90s punk. So they do like Warrant punk style.
Right.
And this would be great for Matt in that band, because he's going to need a lot of different tones.
Right.
Right. And you can take time and you can set it up, like you said, 128 different tones if you need it.
Right.
So it's really easy, and you don't, like I said, it fits in a little bag, and you walk on a plane and into an arena in 5 minutes. I don't know anybody else that can do that.
And talking of the bag, this is it right here. So this is literally, I can walk on a plane and put it in the overhead. No one's going to give me grief. And it's there's a sense of security with that too. I hate putting equipment under the plane.
Oh, especially a tube amp. My Triamp, I've been with Hughes Kettner for 16 years. You know their Triamps. I've got a Mark II. They've got the Mark III now. Love it, but it's a beast.
Right,
you know, I
of
don't know
course.
what the thing weighs. Like in the case, it weighs 90 pounds. I FedExed it one time, and they must have been playing basketball with it, because it actually bent the chassis. Wow. Broke the illumination tubes in it. I had to fix it myself because I know enough about amps. But that's when I stopped taking big amps on the road.
And that's in a flight case too.
That's in a flight case. This is around your shoulder, up and an overhead. The only thing you got to watch out for is ladies that want to jab their bag in there, you know.
Right.
So you help everybody. It's a good flight trick or tip. Help everybody put their bags in the overhead so they don't squash your amp.
And there you have it. Not only tone tips, but travel tips. Joey, thank you. The only thing left to do is for you to play us out, please.
All right, let's do a new tune, louder, harder, faster.